welcome back to Switch to Linux. Today we are going to do a quick look, and we are going to look at Manjaro Cinnamon, which several people have said I should look into. Now, based on my experience using Manjaro Budgie a few months back, I really want to include Manjaro on my top distros. And I'm not sure which flavor I'm going to say, and I'm thinking what I'm leaning towards is saying these are kind of the distros and then kind of doing two of them. One of those talking about the desktop environment, which has a whole lot more to do with how the distro runs, and then talking about the distro itself and kind of what is the difference. So I might end up doing a two-part on the best Linux distros for new users this year. One of those looking at the distros themselves, and then another of those looking at the desktop environments. And so what we want to do is I want to have a look first at their main website, and then what we're going to do is just kind of flip through what the distro looks like. And again, I did go for the Cinnamon edition because somebody said I should look at it. And I'll tell you that right away I had one ultimate issue, and that is that there is some dependency issues when you install Cinnamon. At least on a virtual box, it did not want to update itself properly. And I don't know if that's just because it's in a virtual box or not. I might go ahead and just install this onto one of my systems just to test that as well. And if you do use Manjaro, Chip, I'm talking to you, let me know. Is that a problem with this? Why am I encountering that? And I'll show you if I can recall what exactly the package is. And so if you want to look at Manjaro, here is their website, and it's manjaro.org, and I believe it's either pronounced Manjaro or Manjaro, so we'll kind of, whatever, I'll call it Manjaro here. If it's technically is definitely supposed to be something else, I have not researched the origin of this, unlike GNOME. So anyway, Manjaro is based on Arch, except it is slightly more stable than Arch in that they do test them a little bit more before releasing all the latest and stable packages, but it is a rolling release. This introduces an automatic potential issue in that your system could break a little bit more frequently than if you're using an LTS. I wouldn't worry about it quite as much on Manjaro, but it is a small possibility. For my systems that require absolute stability, I always use a long-term stable system instead of a rolling release. But then if you come up here to the download, the great thing about Manjaro is there's so many different builds. These are the official. We have XFCE is an official, KDE is an official, and the GNOME is an official. We have the Architect ISO, and I forget which one this gets. I'm not a huge into Manjaro. I did run it for about a month on a system, and it ran very nice. Now, there are also, on the download links, there are community releases. So, under your community releases, you have Budgie, and I really like the Budgie desktop environment. This is going on one of my top fives this year. There's Budgie, there is Cinnamon, which we are running here, and this is Cinnamon Manjaro 17.0.6. There's the Deepin. Some people have asked me to look closer at Deepin. I've done a few videos on them, not a whole lot. And then there's the i3, which I'm not a personal fan of just because it takes so long to learn and get configured. But I just don't have that kind of time. But I do hear that when you do get into the configuration, it is a very nice system. Here's LXDE, LXQT, here's Mate. So there are pretty much any major desktop environment you want. You know what? They're missing. They're missing the Enlightenment desktop. That's what they're missing. But anyway, you can come on here to grab the current releases or the community releases or some development releases. Let's see what these look like. So these are 17.1. These are release candidates, it looks like. But with that, let's go ahead and have a look at our distro itself. It might still be updating. Yep, it's still updating for me. I went ahead and it's been updating for a while, so I didn't want to wait until it was done because there's some things I can show you while it is still working. Let me just move my picture. There we are. Now we are on the Manjaro Cinnamon desktop. So all I've done is I've installed this and I have started to run the updates. You'll see I'm running the updates through the terminal. And this is because there was a problem with this where it was not allowing me to run the updates. And let's see if I can go back and see that. Let's see. So the problem is when you are trying to update it either through the terminal or through the package updater, you would get an error. I didn't get the Mesa error. I got the MHWD, which might be related to the VirtualBox. I just don't know much about that particular package, but that was not allowing me to update. And so all I did is ran this command here, forcing the update. This kind of forced that one package that was giving the dependency issue, and then running this basic system update. That's how I resolved the problem. So it's yet to be seen, since it's still updating all these packages, it's yet to be seen if that actually resolves everything or not. But for now, it does appear as though it is actually working. So if you are a regular Manjaro Cinnamon user, let me know, is this a common thing? Apparently it's common enough that there's some posts about it, but let me know if that's a common thing, or if that's if that's just an anomaly, or is it a VirtualBox thing? I just don't know. Again, this is a quick look. This is not a full distro review. I do the quick looks, just booting the distro up, and we're going to have a look at what's installed, what's available. So, of course, Cinnamon is my favorite desktop environment, and a lot of the reason is because it is set up like a Windows system, and I'm not going to rock the boat as far as productivity is concerned. I have tried every major desktop environment. I work on Macs, I work on Windows, I work on a variety of different Linux installs, and what I happen to know is that the setup that I have in Cinnamon is exactly what I need for maximum productivity. That's why both my video recording computer that I'm running on right now runs Cinnamon, and my Linux web development computer also runs Cinnamon. This guy here, which you see in the background, this runs a variety of different distros. This is the one I use to experiment and test with, because this is actually the only Linux computer I have on all day long. The other ones only get turned on when I use them. So I run a variety of different desktop environments, a variety of different distros on there, so that I can get a lot more experience. Currently, I'm running Elementary OS over there. So with that being said, the only things that I really ordinarily do is I like moving my show desktop over to the bottom corner, because that is what gives me the exact functionality that I have in the Windows platform. I work off the desktop. That's really what a desktop is designed for. And so with that, what I want to do is I want to be able to get back to the desktop really quickly, and the best way to do that is turn on panel editing mode and just drag this guy right over here to the bottom corner. No other side of users. Thank you. And then just turn the panel off down there, and now, just like any other old Windows type system, throw the mouse to the bottom corner, and I can actually view, go ahead and view the desktop really quickly. Okay, so let's go ahead and have a look at the software installed over here. And so down here in the Cinnamon menu, we just start in, and of course we have the basic menu items: accessories, graphics, internet, sound, video, administration, preferences, places. And there's really nothing super surprising in here. Cinnamon usually comes with basically the full suite of utilities that you might be looking for. So we have the archive manager, the disk utility, a calculator. Not sure why the HP device manager is installed on a lot of these things, but that is there. We do have a user's guide for Manjaro, which is a very nice system. And then Nemo, of course, is the file manager. There is a root file manager, a root terminal, so those are actually different. Virtual keyboard, that should give us a keyboard window. Let's just see what that does. Hey, look at that. That's a big virtual keyboard, so we can actually type on that. That would be pretty handy, I guess, if you'd have a touch screen or something, or your keyboard goes flaky. So click the keyboard button and that should go away. All right, so those are your accessories there. Under education, we have the math application, graphics. You can see here we have GIMP installed, the Libre Draw, we have the Pix, G-Color. Under your internet, we have SSH, VNC. Those, I think, are actually new. Firefox, this does run Firefox Quantum. It looks like our update is completed. Whoa, hello. I meant to do that. There we are. All right, let's see. And we have Thunderbird, Pigeon, HexChat, Transmission, the full LibreOffice. So they did install everything, the databasing, calculations, draw, impress, writer, the basic default Cinnamon video player, and there's a Praga audio player. I've never actually used that one. VLC is installed. And then our basic administration things. So first, let's go ahead and have a look at the software. This is one of the things that is a little bit different in Manjaro Cinnamon than you'll find in some of the other desktops. And that is that we have the ability to install the software very much like the Synaptic Package Manager. But one of the powers of Manjaro is that it has the Arch user repositories enabled. So not enabled by default. So you have to come down here into your hamburger menu, go down to your preferences, enter your password, and then what you want to do is come over to the AUR. So this is a community-based repository. There could potentially be some issues, but there is a lot in here that is actually pretty cool to use. So you might want to go ahead and turn that on, particularly if you're looking for things. If you're looking for software and you're not seeing it in the basic repositories, then in which case, turning it on the AUR, you will most likely find every software package out there you could possibly want to use. That's one of the powers of Manjaro. You can select your where your repositories are coming from in this menu here. And then, of course, you can go into categories, you can go into groups. So if you're looking for anything specific, you can come in here into your categories. Maybe if you need Audacity, you can do that. Let's see if this will update properly. I'm not getting any issues showing up, so that's good there. Let's try some Blender out. Looks like I do need to. Looks like I do actually need to wait for the one to finish. It's probably going to save them just fine. Let's just try a couple of these applications here and wait for that to finish, and then I'll go ahead and hit them all at once and see what happens. All right. So 2 pending operations. So hitting apply, this should install both of those applications. That was Chromium and Blender. All right, let's go ahead and have a look at our theming. Well, that's installing. Hopefully that's still installing in the background. I should have waited on that. So in your system settings on Cinnamon, everything in here is pretty standard. We do have some extra things like the Manjaro system settings, which is where you can adjust your kernel on this, which is a little bit different than on Linux Mint Cinnamon, for example. But you can adjust your kernel over there. There's our system info, and let's go ahead and have a look at the theme. That's what I said we were going to do. So we do have a variety of themes installed. They don't give us quite as many as we get in Linux Mint Cinnamon, which, I don't know, might actually be pretty good, because there are a lot of themes installed in Cinnamon. And if you don't need all of them, there's a lot more colorful ones in here. But any kind of colors that you're looking for, you can do that. And then we just have 3 basic overall themes. Ooh, I don't like that at all. Never actually really cared for the default Cinnamon, one. This one's not a lot better in my opinion. I like the Linux Mint themes because they have a slight transparency to it. All those are actually adjusted on a CSS file. If you know CSS, you can actually get in there. And you can, of course, go ahead and install more. Under your backgrounds, we have our basic, the basic Linux backgrounds I see a lot of places, and then we have a variety of other ones that you can try out. I mean, that says coffee, so that's actually pretty cool. This kind of reminds me of Minecraft. That's pretty cool. I like that desktop background there. That's pretty good. So everything else here seems to be pretty normal. Overall, like I said, this one here is I did have that little issue at the beginning. It seems to have been resolved by now. Let's go ahead and come down and try and install anything else. Now it's checking for updates again. Well, it's checking for updates. I'm not sure if it's going to find any or not. But that is Manjaro Cinnamon. You know, basic Cinnamon build with the Manjaro packages. So you have a lot of your Arch-based packages. You have the Arch user repository that you can use. So enabling that is a great thing to enable. And overall you get the a lot of the look and the feel of the Cinnamon. If you're coming over from Windows and you want something that's a fairly comfortable feel, this is a good logical choice. Of course, any distro with running Cinnamon would be a logical choice for that. Other ones that are similar to this in design would be, Mate, XFCE. Those all have a very characteristic view as well. Some people want to go with something more exotic, in which case, Pantheon on Elementary is different. GNOME 3 is different. Budgie is kind of a hybrid between the two. You can set it up very much like this type system, but you can do a lot of other things with it as well. So overall, my thought, this is a pretty good system. We got to figure out what is up with that initial bug. Maybe that was just a VirtualBox thing. I just don't know that part. But overall, the Manjaro system is pretty sweet. I like Manjaro. I had a lot of really good luck with it. And because of that, I am going to be including Manjaro on my recommended distros for new users. It can add a little bit more complexity, but it's not all that bad. I didn't have any real issues with it myself when I ran it for a longer period of time. This one on Cinnamon, I would probably run this. I would consider running this as a main distro if I wasn't already established with my computers in Linux Mint. So this is a good logical choice as well if you're looking for something familiar to the Windows type feel, with a lot of good features, a lot of good software, a lot of good packages, things like that. So I'd actually recommend that. So thanks for watching this video, and if you'd like to help support what we're doing, you can check out switchtolinux.com/support, learn about all the ways you can currently help us. As of right now, we have Patreon, patreon.com/TomM. There are Amazon links down below if you want to shop on Amazon. Use my affiliate code down below. It doesn't cost you anything else. Amazon will send me a small percentage of that sale as an affiliate link. And there's also a PayPal link on my Switch to Linux page there. If you just want to, shoot a tip over that way, that would be a great way to do it. So thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.